Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 102. 102. Now, you'll notice that things look a little bit different to how they normally do. I'm joined live in person in the studio by co-host Brady Cush. Good evening, Brady.
Good evening, Matt.
How are you doing today?
Good. Baked. It was like 30 degrees, sunshine. We at least got a little bit of wind, but not nearly the Wellington kind. So super hot, super sticky, but it was gorgeous. You can't complain with great course, great people getting ready for the South Island Championships.
Indeed, we are coming to you live tonight from the HQ of NZDSS and the South Island Championships, which are being played all this weekend. It kicks off tomorrow at Hagley Park in Christchurch. So if you're around and you're not playing it, but you want to watch some Premier Disc Golf, head down there and we'll see you there. Talking of Premier Disc Golf, we're going to go through some hot scores from around the country shortly. Then we've got Avery Jenkins, who's going to join us. He's sat just to my right here, who's going to join us to talk a little bit about his experience in New Zealand and also what he's looking forward to in the upcoming tournament. We're going to go through some brief bits of news that we want to preview for a future show, but two very important things that we want to talk about. Then we're going to be going through some hole previews. So I know what you're thinking. You sat there in MA1, you've played your practice round earlier on today, and you're thinking, how the hell am I going to get through this, right? Or you might be sat in MP40 like myself and thinking, how the hell are we going to get through this? What we're going to do is we're going to go break down each of the holes on the blue course, and I'm going to talk you through how to shoot an even round par on this course, right? Because I reckon even round on this course will put you pretty near the top quartile, I would say. And that might be I might not be being generous enough of MA1, right? So if you're sat there going, it was tough out there today, no fear, I've got the answer for you. Then we're going to go through some upcoming events. We're going to talk about updated rankings from Heisender, and we'll have a quick look at the tips that people have been putting on as well. Sweet Chain tipping is live in play right now. All the tipping closes at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we'll post a link to our Discord shortly so that you can get involved if you still haven't put your money where your mouth is and chosen your winners for this tournament. So without further ado, we're going to go through hot scores for today. Brady, take us through the south.
Let's go south, starting as ever, Invercargill, Queen's Park. Brenley Marshall shoots the hot round this week with 14 under par. Moving up to Dunedin and Chingford, we have Chris Brooks coming in at 2 under par. And out at Brockville, it's Lewis Stridham getting it done with a 5 under par. Moving over Lakeside, Wakatipu Basin and Queenstown Gardens, Morgan Hartfield shoots 11 under par for the hot round. And out at Tucker Beach, it's Mondo McDisc. Please put your name in your UDisc account, who shoots even. Over the Crown Range, Ely Point and Wanaka, we have Flim Flam. Always getting it done, 5 under par. And at Lismore, it's Ben Quinn shoots the 10 under par for the hot round this week. Moving up to the Garden City, another other than Willie Taratna, Christchurch's own, shoots 13 under par for the hot round. At Ascot Park, world champion and American Avery Jenkins shoots the hot round with -7, tied by Hayden Bonney. So shout out to Avery. Good to see you down. Queen's Park Reserve, Johnny Ferrari shoots the -6. Brooker Ave, we have Liam Patterson with a -7. And at Taylor River Reserve in Blenheim, 15 over par?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, by Andrew Corner.
Tough week in Blenheim this week.
Yeah, well, maybe they're getting the rain that Auckland's getting.
Quite possibly. Going through the north, Ben Morrison hits the hot score at Berrenpool with a 5 under par, and 5 under par was also enough for Carson Boone to take out Hikoikoi's hot score for the week on the foreshore. Up at Harcourt Park, Team Sweet Chain's Brett Carlisle hits 8 under par. Great shooting, Brett, at Harcourt Park in Upper Hutt. And up to the mighty Manor 2 at Linklater, Arthur Horn hits 6 under par, tied with Johnny Wake. So congratulations to you too. Up to Maryland's Brian Rawlins hits 4 under par. And at Spa Park Red, Topol's had a tough week this week with 9 over par, Anders Janssen. Over at McLaren's, Josh Pratt hits 5 over par. And up at Henderson, hopefully not in the rain, Bruce Ing hits 8 under par. So well done to everybody who made the hot scores. This week. Now we're going to be joined very shortly by our guest tonight, Avery Jenkins, who's just popped out This is one of the things about having a live studio audience, right? Is that there might be some
But what were the two? There were some news things that you wanted to bring up for
so
future episodes.
there's a future for a couple of things that we want to talk about in future episodes. One, you may have seen a post on Facebook or even got an email about it from NZDG about MDG. MGG Media. Now they're running a. Brady. In short, TLDR. What's it about?
Sweet. So there's a European media company is coming over. They cover all of the European Pro Tour events over there for the European Tour. They are coming to New Zealand and they will be highlighting basically the majors. And so there's a media company who's coming to cover our majors and they're receiving support from people around the country. So we'll be talking more about all of that and the decision that went into that and them coming over and exactly what that project is in a future show. So we have some updates and lining up some interviews for that.
Excellent. So we'll find out more information about that probably next week. Also next week, we want to talk about the PDGA Masters Series. Now, this is particularly relevant for me. This is my first Masters tournament. Okay, I was only eligible in January, and so I'm very much looking forward to this. And the PDGA have announced, not sure it's linked to my eligibility to Masters. And it is. Basically, all the Masters across the world in any sanctioned tournament will gain points that go towards a World Series. And you can do various things with your World Series points, such as brag about it to other people who
you don't invite other countries to the World Series. I thought just Americans did the World Series thing.
This is a World Series that actually means the world. So okay. So that's going to be interesting. We'll have more information on that next week. Anyway, joining us now live from where we are in NZDSS headquarters is our guest tonight, Avery Jenkins. Good evening, Avery.
Good evening.
Come in.
Good evening. Awesome. We got room here?
Yeah,
there we go. We can always shuffle.
Oh, big guy. Get my shoulders in here. There we go.
Yeah. Get all the Discmania.
Awesome.
Full branding's got to be in.
Excellent. Avery, you've been in the country now for 3-4 days?
Man, it's a fun-filled 3 days, but it feels like a week already. We've been packed with activities every day, all kinds of courses, all kinds of running around Christchurch, checking out the sights and scenes, and it's been a blast. It's been a lot of fun being here and just the excitement of being in New Zealand, obviously international country for us, but with the tournament coming up, that's exciting for whatever's happening here in the last 6 years. There's a whole vibe, a whole movement, a whole motion with disc golf, and it's literally exploding now more than it was 6 years ago. It's I feel like it's triple in size these days. So that's exciting, and I'm stoked to be back.
Well, I'd like to just touch first on kind of how you've got to being here.
Okay.
Because it's been a bit of a long journey. The Discmania 1 in 4 is coming to an end now, and that used to be the 1 in 10, and that started about 2 years ago. So this tournament is almost a culmination of 2 years in the making, and there would have been prep time prior to that. Sure. So how do you feel seeing this being the kind of culmination of all of that?
I'm excited about that as well. It's been a long time coming. Obviously, the level of play here has substantially increased. Last time I was here 6 years ago, I played the New Zealand champs down in Paradise, and there's some solid players here. You got Jocko, who's a staple on the tour. You have Simon Feasey, who's always a perennial, champion in many tournaments here. And there's a lot more up and coming players and a lot of younger players and more established players. And I think it's more competitive now than ever before. And so talking about this 1 in 10, now 1 in 4, it's coming down to the finish here with these players finishing out this final season here. And we're going to start making some, a difficult decision for that 1 in 1, who's the most deserving and what it comes down to. And I love the breakdown last week talking about, the players, where they're at, 1,000 rated rounds, tournament wins, and then going in Sebastian being MA1, playing against 3 MPO players and not always playing against them in the same round or, having that same league card, the final round. Things mentally do change, when you're playing against them or you're just going to walk away with a win in MA1, there is that mindset for sure. That can be a substantial differential between how players finish and how they perform and how they score. So it is going to be a really tough decision. For the fact is I saw all 4 of them play today during a practice round. Me and my colleague Maverick, we went out there today and we played a practice round this morning. all 6 of us,
Mhm.
us 2, and all 4 of them being Sebastian and Ashton, and then watching Connor play.
Yep.
And then obviously watching Ben play. I've known Ben for a while now, and it was great to have all 4 of them play at a high level,
Mhm.
play a brand new course that none of us have played. So going off of just, instinct and reaction and how they see certain shapes and certain shots, and fantastic players all around.
Yeah.
Like, you see certain strengths, some are better putting, maybe some are better driving, forehand, backhand,
Mhm.
but all around very solid players. And it's really going to be exciting to see how they play, because golf is golf, and to see how the tournament sets up and lines up for players. It's going to be a sight to see. I think in 3 rounds on the blue course, we're really going to see, the best players shine through.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of one of my questions. I know you're a course designer and that kind of stuff. And, like, you're a world champion. So, like, the 4 of them and any players who are looking to, like, win this weekend, like, what's it going to take? Like, what skills does this course demand of a player to compete well on it?
Yeah. Always it comes down to being a great putter, a consistent putter, but being a longer course, par 60, it's going to come down to that driver and putting that driver in play. Staying in bounds is a big thing. There's some pretty tight fairways out there. Shaping shots. I've never seen so many kind of left to right turnovers, especially on that front side. And it's really just getting down the fairway, keeping it in bounds, and getting up and down. And all players are very capable of doing that on the forehand and backhand side, and all solid players on around. So I'm just really curious on what's going to transpire, wind, weather, heat. It's really going to see who is the best player, and that's going to be determined this weekend.
You're a very experienced disc golfer, and the weather that we experienced today was sweltering during the heat of the day.
Was it?
I love it. Well, okay. For me, it was. From about midday to 3 o'clock, it was the heat ramped up, the clouds went away, and it was really hot.
Yep.
What can, not just the Discmania 1 in 4 players, but all players who are playing tomorrow, what would be your advice to survive that heat, to come away from the course not, falling over? If you've played in that kind of heat before, what kind of tactics have you employed to deal with that?
Yeah, it's a game of patience. When the heat and the temperature get up and it's kind of sweltering, kind of hot, definitely humid down here. You got to have the sunblock on. Us Americans, us pale skins are definitely putting on sunblock. And then I heard a lot of players talking about bringing an umbrella, making your own shade. Yep. Luckily enough, I think the way the course situates right now, it's in a lot of tree shade, which is good. You're not out in the open getting blasted too much, but be able to stay patient when it's hot. You have a good shot, you have a bad shot. It's about keeping that level mind, keeping that level headspace. Yep. Bad shot, something you might get mad at. I think it increases as the temperature goes up as well. And I think the cool head will prevail. So being out there, staying cool, being patient is a big part of the game out here, especially in the heats. And I think the conversion rate's like 86 to 90 in that range. And that's good heat. We're in the summertime. Yeah. We went to the southern hemisphere for this. So excited for that. And I think the cooler head will prevail, the one that's the most patient through 3 rounds, and you're only playing 54 holes. So playing I was going to say the par 3s out there are challenging. Some of the most challenging par 3s I've seen in one tournament. And then the par 4s are a little softer on bigger, longer holes, but easier up and downs, I think, on the upshots and stuff. Yeah. So, I'm excited to see what goes down. It's going to be a fun weekend to be out here. I hope the weather holds out on Sunday for a strong showing. And then we're obviously looking for a nice gallery, and spectators come out on Sunday and watch disc golf in central Christchurch. So there's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, so for any of our viewers out there who may be newer players, Avery, of course, came over and was in a heated battle when he first came over at the tournament down in Paradise. And I know that you want to walk away with a win, but that was like 6 years ago. Yep. Body changes, like Matt talked about it himself, like he's a master's in that. Like, how do you keep the body and mind sharp to still compete at the highest level, like further on in your career?
That's a great question. I'm still looking for the answer. It was 6 years ago, and so I was a young chipper, 38 at that time, now I'm 44. But I think experience does definitely play a good portion of that. Keeping the body healthy, stretched out, and it is going through the reps of experience and expertise of knowing how the game is played. And I think I've learned that more, more than most for sure. And my experience being on tour and a tour player for 15 years, but playing disc golf for almost 37 years at this point. So going back to it, my visit last 6 years ago, a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to be here and get that experience and then see where kind of the state of disc golf was in New Zealand. And then it's definitely changed and altered and grown. And over that time, I definitely played a lot less disc golf. I play a lot less disc golf these days as far as tournament play. I played 3 tournaments last year, 2 of those being majors, the European Open and Worlds. And I play a lot of disc golf, though. I played 111 new courses last year. So I still play a lot. I still throw a lot. But competitive disc golf compared to casual disc golf is definitely different.
You reached a milestone recently of your course numbers played. What was?
I got to 1,400. 1,400 courses, 1,400 courses. Played Jelly Park here in Christchurch, the most played and most popular course in Oceania with Australia, New Zealand. So really stoked for that. And it's what's cool is the story with that is I was here 6 years ago when I played my 900th course in Queenstown Gardens. And that was number 900. So 500 courses later, 6 years later. And that was the oldest course in New Zealand. So that's definitely another milestone for me. But great to be back in New Zealand. A lot of cool things happen here. And my last trip was a blast. And I look forward to seeing what's going to transpire this weekend and then even throughout next week as well.
Because you've got some more plans after the tournament ends, right? To do a bit more traveling?
Yeah. I'm a course collector. It's what drives me. I like to play as many courses as possible. I like to play new courses. I like new experiences. And I need to write an article about this sometime. I probably talked about it way too many times, but I think the experience of going out there and trying and going to new places and new adventures, like some courses are just way out in the middle of nowhere, very remote spots. And there's no other reason you'd ever be up in these remote side of a hill or over some mountain somewhere. Why would you be up there any other ways? But there's a disc golf course there and you want to play it and you want to check it out. And I can't imagine some of the more epic locations in this country, down south, along the West Coast even. And I've heard a lot about a lot of the crazy cool courses around here and I look forward to checking them out. So that's what drives me. I think the competitive side, I still like playing tournaments, but man, playing and traveling, it's a huge passion of mine. And to be here, one of my favorite countries in the world, to do that, it's amazing. And so our goal next week is to travel the entire country. Entire South Island.
Okay. I'm South Island, wait a second. There's a couple islands here.
Try to do the whole loop and try to play every course in the South Island is the goal. So we're gonna come close.
That's pretty ambitious, but you're in for an absolute treat. Because some of them are absolutely.
Is there anything you missed in the last trip that you're gonna tick off this time?
Played Queenstown Gardens and I played Lismore.
Okay.
Were the 2 courses I played. And then this week, me and Mav in the last 2 days, we played 7 courses.
Jeez.
We played all 6 permanent courses in Christchurch and then the tournament course here and the temp course. And so we didn't play the Reds today. We got to save something in the tank for this week. I got a long weekend of golf. And so the disc golf course collector wants to go play the Reds, but the tournament player says, wise decision, just go play the Blues and stick with the tournament layouts. But we want to play everything through the South Island. The one we might miss is down on Stewart Island.
Stewart Island,
It's a national park down there. I guess it's like $350 round trip for a ferry, and it might eat up like a half day to a day just to play a one course of 7 holes. So we might pull an audible and visit some other more epic places too.
Well, Teano is great. I hear that you guys are headed like Milford Sound this time, right?
Everything else.
Okay, cool.
That's the goal.
Excellent. I mean, you're in for an absolute treat. And I think one of the things that struck me is now that different to 6 years ago is that each town that's now got a disc golf course has now got so many more, right? Yeah. So Queenstown, for example, Queenstown Gardens has now got Tucker Beach and Jardine. Wanaka, if you played Ely Point, did you say you played Ely Point?
I played Lismore.
So there's now Ely, Lake Hawea, and Confluence that you can check out all in the town there. And that's how it's grown, not to mention Christchurch, right? So
which is already ticked off all 7, right?
So I think that's what you're gonna notice. You're in for an absolute treat. For the rest of the time.
Fun road trip. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Look, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're in Christchurch for any point over this weekend, maybe you're playing, maybe you're spectating, then come down to Hagley Park, come and say hi to Avery, and also catch his card. I think he's on the.
When do you tee off tomorrow, Avery?
10 o'clock, right?
10 a.m.
10:30. 10:30. So we've got
Okay.
the Discmania 1 in 4 are a
Okay.
card of their own, teeing off at 10 o'clock. It's a filmed round. They're half an hour before everybody else. They're all playing on the same card. I mean, it's going to be a pressure cooker, right? Especially if it heats up. So that's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Well, I think the best bit is like you are legit following them the whole day because you're the next card. So you get to play behind the Discmania.
I got my eye on them. For sure. It'll be fun to watch the battle, and that's just the first of 3 rounds. So it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us,
Absolutely.
Avery. We'll see you throughout the weekend. We may we've got a show every night over the weekend, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm sure we'll speak to you again.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Be a
guys.
pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thank
Cheers,
you, guys.
Avery.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Avery.
Thank you.
Lovely stuff. Now, the tournament tomorrow is being played across 2 courses. There's the red course, which is for MA2, FA1, I believe, MA40, and beyond in terms of Masters divisions, and the juniors. There's also the blue course, which is MPO, MA1, MP40, and FPO. Right. So, which is the course that we played today. We had we were out on the practice round today, and if you're playing in that round in one of those divisions, you might be thinking, well, today was a bit of a shocker. All right, the heat was up. It was difficult. So what we're going to do, but no. What we're going to do now, I'm going to tell you how you can get a par on each of these holes that's coming up. We're going to do it sort of quick fire because we don't want to labor the point. But Brady, I'm going to ask you to chip in and answer the question that if you're one of the guys shooting at the top of MPO, which I know that you're aiming to do, how are you changing what I'm doing into a birdie? All right. Cool. So here we go. Let's get.
Can I answer that quickly?
Go on.
2 words. Throw farther.
Throw further. Okay. So that's nice. Let's see. Right. Where are we? Okay, so here we go. Hole 1 is 142 meters. It's a par 3, quite a long par 3. We don't have too many par 3s in New Zealand that are 142 meters. The way I'm playing this is I'm sorry.
Well, it's like we have an American in the room, so I was like, oh, like do you guys have 140 meters? So it's going to be like 450 foot par 3.
On the pro tour, maybe, but it is flat.
Is it flat? Okay, you can get there. Okay.
Yeah.
American says we can get there.
No, I saw a park job today on one of the cards I was playing. So it's definitely
Doable.
Possible.
Easy.
However, what I'm doing is I'm throwing. There's really no hazards on this course on this hole. Sorry. It's pretty much you can throw something straight at it, bite off most of the hole, 90 to 100 meters. 50 meter upshot. Tap in your putt.
Cool.
How are you doing it any differently? You just throwing further.
Yeah, I'm throwing 142 meters and making my birdie putt.
Lovely. Okay, right. We're going to move on to hole 2. Hole 2 is an interesting little hole. It's got a little bit of a downhill slope to it. There's trees either side. What I'm doing is I'm taking something like a fuse, and I'm just putting something out straight. I want it to finish slightly left because the tree on the right has got a bit of a low hang that I'd rather not get involved in. So something like a fuse just to put me into circle 2 or circle 3, and then I'm pitching up to get my And what
I'm taking a forehand to park it and tapping in my birdie.
So you're taking a forehand approach to this. Okay, well, that's slightly different.
And like for you, like rather than taking the fuse, which is potentially bringing in like the height and the ceiling, like I would take a trust and like overstable mid out the left just to make the upshot easier. Okay.
Hole number 3 is the first hole that introduces mandatory to the right of the tree that's kind of in the middle. Now, again, 132 meters. I'm not making this in any kind of one throw. All I'm trying to do is get some way round the corner. And actually, with this one, the drop zone flags are about where I'm aiming. I'm looking to get just to the left, and the miss for me is out to the left of the drop zone flags. If I'm going to be anywhere, that's where I want to be, and then I'm aiming straight at it after that. This is a tough birdie, I think.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna like black ace hole 1 and then like chip up and like just take my par. But yeah, like it's a huge turnover. If you have the distance, great. But there's a tree overhanging a circle's edge. So the idea of like most likely if you want to like access the pin and access the circle, you'll need a roller.
Yeah. Okay. Now, hole number 4. This one is an interesting hole again, but it's a par 4. So you've got that extra little bit. And this is one of the ones that I found actually there's a chance here that I can get a birdie shot in, right? The first 3 holes, I'm playing for par.
Birdie?
I know, right?
We're talking about pars here, though, Matt.
I know. But for the first 3 holes, I'm taking threes, and I'm not looking to do anything else other than
take a 3 on this one.
Indeed. Again, another one where I want to be aiming just to the left of the drop zone flags, swing it around the corner. And I think if you can get far enough, and again, the miss is out left. If you can get far enough and out left, then you're in a good spot.
Yeah. This is, Avery talked about it earlier in the show. This is the first of the soft par 4s. You know, like I'm throwing past the Mando over the hazard, probably out between the hazard and the OB. It's actually more space than you think to open up a wide open forehand approach shot for an easy tap in 3.
Excellent. Hole 5. Hole 5. This is interesting because you've got some very tall trees on the left-hand side and an overhang where the Mando is. So I'm taking a sidearm and I'm throwing a musket, and you'll hear that a lot from me today because that's my go-to driver. And I'm going to be putting a musket on a sidearm, trying to keep it relatively straight, but I don't really mind if it hyzes too much as long as I've made the Mando, because it's going to go towards basket. So, and I'm probably going to land somewhere in circle 2, pitch up and take my par. Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I wish I was Stephen Reed and could just throw a lefty and it'd just make this super easy. Unfortunately, I'm not, so I have to take a forehand. But yeah, forehand, the hole describes it. You can probably take it inside with something straighter. You can go outside, something more stable, skip inside the circle, make 4 or 5 meter putt, easy. Another birdie. Almost a must get. This, any par 3 under 90 meters, I would argue is a must get for the top of the field.
Yeah, along with all the par 4s and the par 5, which we'll get to shortly.
All the softies.
All the softies. Hole 6. Hole 6 has got a bit of a gap to get through, and the basket is on a hill with a bunker that surrounds about half of it in a kind of crescent shape. Now, the way I felt the way to play this hole was that the miss again was out left, and I want to be long left of the basket to then chip up. Right. If I hit the first group of trees again, that's probably not so much of a problem because I can. It's a 40 meter upshot. How are you playing this any differently?
I'm not playing it long left. I'm probably going to play it at the basket. So the idea of the slope, the basket's on a little hill surrounded by that like crescent. So I'm just taking it straight at it, probably like an FD or a mid. I threw a buzz at it today. And then, just trying to basically just miss short so that, like I'll have a 5-6 meter kind of death putt, but I don't really care about the hazard behind. I'm going to cash my putt, take a birdie.
Nice. This one is interesting actually, because we played this hole for the first time today, obviously, and as we were walking, as we were walking down the fairway, you don't see the hazard because it's dipped down, and we were like, well, this hole looks fairly innocuous, and then we walked up, and of course the sand trap is there, and it.
I was talking with Chris Hoopman's going to be covering it on Flexline, and we were already talking about the camera angles are going to be amazing because you can't see the hazard off the tee, but you'll see it all there.
Hole 7. Hole 7's an interesting one. It's an uphill, so the 75 meters plays a lot longer than this because it's uphill. I'm taking a sidearm, and I'm trying to get it as far up as I can. I'm probably going to land circle 3, and I'll pitch up.
I will also be taking a forehand, but I'm going to skip left behind the tree. I'm going to chain out left, so unfortunately, I'm going to tap in a par as well.
Is that what happened today?
No, why would that have happened today? That's not personal experience, no.
Hole 8, we've got another par 4 here. This one is, again, one of the ones I'll be looking at. Maybe attacking. Hole 8, and I'm attacking 2 holes. So this one, I'm either going to go sidearm with a musket. Depending on how my sidearm's feeling earlier on in the day is going to depend on whether I do that. Or I'm going to take a maul on a Anheuser line to try and clear the Mando and get round the corner. From there, it's then a drive of, I don't know, however much is left, probably somewhere between 80 and 90 meters to the pin.
Yeah, we need to work on that drive.
We do. But for now, how are you changing this? How are you doing anything differently?
Well, I'm just throwing it farther off the tee. So I'm taking a forehand off the tee, and then it's just a zone of like a 50 meter upshot after that to park it and tap in 3.
Excellent.
It's one of the easiest par 4s, like legitimately, as long as you don't try to overcook it, no one's going to it. I would
No,
really
no.
love to see too. This is one of those that if someone can throw the sky roller and get it out, there's just before the Mando, there's like a little creek and a dip in the course.
Yeah.
If you could clear that on a roller, you might be able to get to the pin in two.
The sky roller
for a look.
The sky roller is tough due to some trees on the left-hand side of the tee. So I'd be surprised if anybody went for that shot. But I mean, we never know. We might see. You're going to go.
I mean,
that
that was my second shot.
Okay.
It just rolled out right.
Look, I want to see it. I want to see it done. I want to see this hole too.
Okay.
Hole number 9 is a manufactured river. There's no water in this river, but it's a riverbed. This one actually, do you know what I'm doing?
What?
I'm taking a mid-range and I'm pitching up before the river.
Yeah.
And then I've got an upshot that just clears the river and it's far easier.
Yeah.
As far as a free goes, that's exactly what I'm doing. This one's really hard because the tree that's in front of the basket is quite a wide tree, cuts off a lot. There's a lot of low-hanging stuff to the right-hand side. So for me, I'll be looking to pitch up just before the creek, hop over the creek, tap in a par.
Nice. If I had a forehand, I would be taking a flex forehand out to the left and parking it and tapping in birdie. Or I like your play. I'm taking the backhand to the right-hand side of the tree, parking it and tapping in my birdie.
Lovely
so
stuff.
Still throwing a mid, but going to make the circle.
Hole 10. Hole 10 is par 5.
Yeah.
It's 271 meters, the longest hole on the course. And again, I think this is quite a soft par 5, even for someone like me who doesn't throw far. And so it's basically, for me, it's 2 big drives. And then I'm hoping to be somewhere near the Mando corner to throw an anhyzer around the corner with a maul or probably maybe a fuse and be somewhere hopefully inside the circle. And I may even get a birdie, but I got a hole. I got a shot up my sleeve should any of those go wrong.
That's right. But so do you find the par 5 at Barronport is 235?
Yep.
So nearly 35, 36 meters shorter. Is this harder or is Barronport the hill harder?
Barronport's way harder. And the reason for it is the elevation it actually goes downhill. This is a net downhill hole, right? Whereas Barronport, if you've played it, hole 7 is, I don't know what the elevation change is. You'll know it off the top of your head.
It's like plus 26 or something.
It's some silly thing. So it's a lot hard. 225, 225,
235.
235 plays way longer in my view. And I think is a lot harder. Also, you've got the difficulty of throwing, at least I find it difficult, throwing far on a slope uphill, right? Which changes the mechanics of your throw and the way you might otherwise approach each one of these drives and upshots.
Yeah. Stephen, because I know you're in the room and you're lefty, do you take a forehand or a backhand through par 5, hole 10? Yep. Do you forehand through the gap or do you backhand through the gap once you make it to the Mandos?
Depends on my second shot would be, but I'd probably prefer to take a backhand as the basket is up the end.
So play down that right side?
And a forehand does bring the OB left in play.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say on this is I'll be trying to stick to the right hand side of the fairway, so that I'm not getting involved in the Mando. I don't want to give it any attention really, and it opens up the gap between the OB and the Mando a little bit more.
So I'm going to play like Steven. I'm going to take 3 left hand stock hyzers, just play down the right hand side. Like make it inside the circle, probably like an 8-meter putt for birdie. Yeah. Nice. Cool. Sweet.
So hole number 11. This one comes off the back of the big par 5. And honestly, this is just a bit of a hyzer approach, really.
Yep.
Straight at it with a slight hyzer, and you're probably going to be somewhere near where you need to be.
Yeah, this is where I want, like Phil's right hand backhand with an FD, like just hang it out. It's like that perfect little skip to the base of the hill, easy 5-meter up.
Yep. Again, I'm hopefully got a shot up my sleeve if I'm somewhere near the basket.
Well, can you reach this pin for birdie? Like, can you get the circle?
I can throw 95 meters.
Yes.
If it goes in the right direction, then I might be okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Hole 12. Hole 12 is another hole that's got a tight gap, and the basket for this is actually on a raised little hill, right? With quite a deep kind of hole next to it. Now, this one I parked on the first practice round, so I tapped in my birdie here. It's not a far hole; it's 75 meters, but the gap you've got to hit. I hit it with my musket on the right angle, and it just stuck into the hill. Yeah, I'm hoping to do the same thing again tomorrow, obviously.
Yeah, I'm probably taking overstable mid to the bottom of the hill because there's no skip on this hole and cashing the 10-meter up. Yeah.
Excellent. Hole 13. Hole 13's got so many mandos and hazards and all sorts of stuff. The thing that stuck out at me of this is when we turned up for the first round, there was a card of 5 or 6 guys in front of us, and all of them were throwing these big Sky Annies to try and clear the trees, clear the hazards, and then have something that flexes and goes straight and towards the basket, right? With mixed kind of results. Most of them were taking frees. What I did is I threw my musket, my trusty musket, at pretty much just to the right of the Mando, so that it hyzered to basically where the drop zone flags are. I want to be where the drop zone flags are. 40-meter upshot, tapping my par, same result as all those Sky Annies. I'm doing different.
No, I'm taking the Sky Annie.
You're taking the Sky Annie.
So, like, if it's calm enough, I'm taking the Sky Annie. If it's windy, I'll probably take the safe hyzer play, but I'm going to clear all the hazards in the OB, so I might be able to give myself just outside a circle look for birdie. Yeah.
The only real danger, if you don't go Sky Annie, well, one, if you go Sky Annie and you stall out, right, then you're going to land in all of that rubbish. If you don't go Sky Annie and you go the route I'm going to take, the danger there is that the disc is more too overstable. I know the wind's going to be changing, and is on this hole, I believe, is going to be a right to left wind tomorrow. So if just be careful of that is what I'd say, and maybe adjust your disc or throw accordingly. Hole number 14. What are you doing?
Stock hyzer with a nuke. Hope it doesn't skip too far across.
Well, the hole 14. This is one where it's got a low ceiling.
Same.
And then a low ceiling group of trees to a basket that's in kind of a little dip. Again, I'm trying to clear the second group of trees. And if I can get through those group of trees by throwing a low backhand, then I'm just pitching up for a putt.
I'm just trying to play a little bit farther. Trying to get penetration with a high-speed disc, let it skip across, hopefully get a look from circle's edge.
Excellent. Hole 15. Hole 15 is interesting. Again, this one looks further than this one. It looks closer than it is. To me, it looks a lot more like sort of 70 meters. It comes in at 89. And actually, when you play the hole, I found that actually you realize it is 89 meters. What I'm looking to do on this one is take a fuse or a river, something that's going to follow the shape of basically the illustration there, and then chip up for my par. I don't want to turn this over too much because there's some low-hanging trees on the right which can cause problems. But I do want to get it far enough to clear the OB and get it as far close to the pin as I can. You doing anything different?
It's another forehand for me. There's kind of one guardian tree just outside the circle. So if I can stay outside it, it'd be ideal because then I'll be parked for my birdie. Otherwise, I'll do what I did today. I'll end up at 11 meters and just cash it from outside the circle.
Excellent. Hole 16. Hole 16 looks like a fairly simple hyzer play.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Are you doing anything different? I mean, I'm going to just be playing the gap and trying to... Well,
the other thing for you that we found out today, so like I was playing with Chris Husman, because I'm going to attack I kept skipping across. So like I'd land inside the circle, but then like skip out to like 12 meters. And so if you're for the shorter arms, you can play outside because there's no Mando. So if you play outside right, outside that tree line on your left, you can be pin high with a wide open look for an easy like chip up.
Yeah, the thing that caught me about this hole is that there was a lot of people attacking it, is what I saw, and a lot of people walking away with frees. Whereas my play, which was just to put something near the gap and then chip up, got the same result. And yet my play is, I think, a lot more stress-free.
But do you ever like stress that you're going to like stuff up the par? Because like at least if you attack on the birdie and you stuff up, you still get the par.
Oh, now this
compared to like if you play for par and stuff that up, now you're taking bogey.
No, because I think this is where perhaps you and I differ, is that I've got way more confidence in my approach game than I do in my driving game. So in terms of playing to my strengths, that's what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to try and play an approach game that relies on 40, 50 meter approaches rather than big long drives. Hole 17. This is a fun hole. Actually measures at 225, not 200.
Oh, it says 200.
I know it says 200, but they've shaved a little bit off. It measures at 225, which is interesting. Now,
best hole on the course.
Best hole on the course.
Signature
hole.
Look, for sure.
So I had a conversation with someone on this, and the way I approached this shot, right, this one, is I said, right, I've got 225 meters. I'm taking a par. I don't want more than a 5 meter putt. So I got 220 meters left. 220 meters is 72 meters. I'm just going to throw a fuse, 72 meters, dead straight, 3 times, and then tap in for a par. What are you doing?
Did you do that in the practice round?
I did. What are you doing?
I'm taking a flex with a crank. So I'm throwing a high-speed driver that's super flippy, throwing it 50% just to keep it down the gap, let it slide along the road. Then taking, again, a straight fairway, put myself to circle's edge. Unfortunately, I hit cage low, so I had to tap in a par.
So the interesting thing here is that I saw many people trying to do the play that you were doing, right? And a few things happened. One, the disc didn't flip enough, and they missed the Mando. Two, they overcooked it, and it went outbound
on the road.
On the right-hand side. Or it flexed too much, and then they've made the Mando, but they're out on the left-hand side, and they've gone out the tree, so they've got to come back in the trees. The trees have got a lot of low-hanging stuff. And for me, there's more risk there. If I'm settled on a par, and I know you won't be, but if your goal here is to hit a par, play for par. Play to get the 4 shots rather than let's have a go at attacking this and then walking away with 5.
And that's the big difference too of like similar to Avery. I've been playing a really long time, and you touched upon it beautifully today. The idea of like going out to a practice field and knowing your bag, knowing your discs. So like I've spent time on rugby fields learning to throw on a line. So like I know that like I have 100% trust in that disc that I throw, so that when I'm standing on the tee pad, I know it's going to land on that road. It's not going to skip left. It's not going to skip right. I'm not going to overcook it. So like knowing, just like you know your fuse at 70 meters, so you can put it on that line and it's going to hold there. And so like for me, the idea that like I've just harnessed that skill and taken that experience and practice so that I can just take that. So I'm trying to get like 100 to 120 meters off the tee. So that way, you know, like I can throw a fairway or a mid on my second to try to give myself that look for birdie. And so, a lot of things have to come together. I do have to get it right, but like I have my faith in those abilities to get the birdie, or at least the birdie look on 17.
Finally, hole 18. The way I'm doing this is I'm laying this one up. Right.
Okay.
I want my second shot to land as close to the line of flags that mark out the OB where it says 139 meters. I want my second shot to land as close to that as possible. So again, I can play a 60-meter approach shot to the pin. How are you doing anything different?
I'm going to take Kana's advice, so I have to shout out to him for this one. Okay. I'm going to throw 140 meters OB, and then I'm going to cash my 25-meter jump putt for a circle birdie.
Right. Okay. So,
right, like
that's the way to do it. Is that
because
good game plan?
Like it's not bad because I miss, right? So as long as I can throw OB off the tee, even if I stuff it up, I'm going to be super close anyway to be able to throw up over the top for birdie. But ideally, I'm looking to throw OB off the tee, take the jump putt, because if I miss, it's still a tap in par. Like, it's fine. Excellent. If you have the distance for it, like 130 meter, like with a terrible crosswind is a pump, but it's not a bad play.
Right. Now, I had a question on the card for this one, actually. Once you get onto the green of hole 18, and I know we saw Andrew Faulkner around a minute ago, so he may be able to confirm, or someone else.
We might have a couple other rules aficionados in
indeed. So hole 18, you're on the green. You've landed on the green in 2 or 3, right? When you shoot your putt on 18, you go long of the basket and go OB. Is that a drop zone or is that regular OB rules and you play it back?
Well, we have a live audience.
We do. Does anybody live in the audience know the answer?
Said that, I was like, that can't be the way though. Like it's second shot to the island.
Yep.
Yeah, so you've landed on the island. You've landed
but
successfully.
I missed my birdie putt,
and you go long.
But I go long. So now I've landed successfully on the green, and now I've gone out of bounds off of the green. Yeah. Do I play from the drop zone, or do I play regular OB rules?
So as soon as you
on the island, you'll never go back to the drop zone.
Okay, cool. Okay, no, thank you for clearing that up. Yep. And so that's very usul to know. Once you've made the island, you've made the island.
I love the non-islanders are giving us tips on island rules.
Yeah. There it is. Look, Brady, that's the 18 holes that we've looked over very briefly there. My goal is to shoot par. If I get anything under par, I'll be frankly delighted. What's your goal?
I'm probably trying to look to shoot somewhere between, like, say, 6 or 7 down.
Okay.
like that would be kind of my goal. Like you talked about, like I rely on my drive and my putt. So if I can hit those short par threes, like I can and play clean on the like par fours and par fives, I could easily come, in that like 6-7 range.
Excellent. I'm actually quite glad it's a course that doesn't punish me for being a approach player.
Yeah.
Right. It's not a course where you have to be able to bomb it 120 meters in order to have any success on this course. I think I can play my game with my relatively weak drive and arguably quite weak.
I still I'm willing to put a disc up. I'm willing to take actual bets to see how many times he pars hole 17 this weekend.
So I got 3 goes at it.
You got 3 goes. So out of 3,
I played 2 practice rounds today, so I'm 1 for 2.
Okay, so we're 50% so far.
So you reckon all 3 discs, and you're doing a disc giveaway, right?
What?
So if I hit, so there's no pressure on me. If I get 3 pars this weekend on hole 17,
I'll give away 3 discs if he gets 3 pars. So the amount of
incredible.
So the amount of birdies he gets is the amount of discs I'll give away.
Pars.
Yeah? Fine pars.
Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. No pressure, but
Avery's in on it.
I eat pressure for breakfast. We're okay.
Pressure's a privilege, baby.
Okay, here we go. Right. That's our whole preview. Now we were lucky enough earlier on today to actually catch up with a couple of other players who were playing, and we bumped into 2 stout brothers.
We're not so stout anymore.
Not at all. But as you often do, and let's have a listen to what they had to say. You've had a practice round this morning. How did you find it, Levi?
It's a bit of a difficult course if you're putting in no Bs, but if you're staying out, it should be good.
Yeah, good. You're the favourite coming into the tournament, at least among the Kiwis. So do you think you can put this one away?
Yeah, if I play well, putt well, throw well, I'll be fine.
Excellent. Ethan, you'll be challenging him. Some of these, there's been a bit of feedback that says this is quite a lefty-friendly course, which might play to your advantage. Is that the way you see it?
The first few, yeah, I can agree. The first few maybe, but as everyone likes to say, it's always lefty because a lot of people can't throw forehands. But I do agree. The first few, 2, 3, 4, the front 9 probably more so than the back 9, but I think it's a fair left finish and right finish, to suit both ways.
And Levi, it's been really hot here today. I know you weren't on the course during perhaps the hottest part of the day, but what are you going to be doing tomorrow to try and keep yourself hydrated and not dying heat stroke?
Lots of water and probably freeze a bottle overnight so I have it just cold. The old ice. Yeah, ice bottle. Should be fine.
Lovely. Thanks very much. Best of luck tomorrow, and we'll catch up with you later on the weekend.
Yes.
Always good to catch up with those 2, and you'll see them on the course tomorrow. Talking of favourites amongst the field, let's just quickly jump into the power rankings, shall we? Because we haven't done these, haven't shown these since Heisinder. Heisinder was last weekend, so we're going to jump into the power rankings now to show you the changes. There's been quite a few changes that have occurred since Heisinder has happened. Firstly, in the FPO division, Amy Whitmore moves up 2 spots to 5th place. Edwina Mandisolza goes up 5 spots to 13th. In the MPO side, the major change is Levi Stout climbs 1 place higher than Jackson Sullivan to take the number 1 rank, and Ryan Cambridge moves up 2 spots to 4th.
Top 4.
Ethan Stout, who we just heard from just now, has moved up 7 spots to 17th, and Stephen Reed, who's in the room with us now, climbed 3 spaces up into the top 20. So to him,
go Stephen.
Now, as we said earlier on, Levi is the favourite. Now, the data analytics team here at Sweet Chain Music has been hard at work working out who they think is going to be the winner from today. If you've got an opinion on this and you think that you think that you can do better than the analytics team, which Brady, would you be confident against the data analytics team? You know most of them.
Yes, I do. We happen to be like close friends. I don't know, because like the Americans aren't factoring into this. You know, like Maverick is over here. We got Nate Perkins. We got an Avery Jenkins, a world champion on the course. You know, they know what it takes to win. So, you know, I might be backing my Americans as much as your power rankings are only like favoring these Kiwis.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because the power rankings have only involved the data that we've got, and unfortunately, we don't have enough data from the traveling players to be able to factor in. However, if you think that you can do better than our data analytics team at predicting who you think is going to win, then what you need to do is get involved in Sweet Chain tipping. So this is available on our Discord. I've just popped the link into the comments below. Get across onto our Discord, get yourself some coin, and get involved in the Sweet Chain tipping. Now, we're going to very briefly just have a quick look to see, because there's been some activity on the tipping site so far, and we just wanted to show you.
And this is fantasy tipping. There is no real money involved. This is all computer generated coins. So this is not official tipping. Please do not confuse us with the real thing.
So
this is a bit of fun.
Couple of things on this. Don't send me your credit card number.
You can send me your credit card number. He doesn't want it.
Don't send me your credit card number. Don't report me to the Ministry of Internal Affairs for setting up third-party gambling sites, because this really isn't that. It's a bit of fun.
Hey, Phil, report Matt.
It's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun. But here we go. So what we've got here is that's very difficult to see. But if you head over to our Discord, you'll see several bets that are available. We've got who will be the highest placing in the Discmania 1 in 4.
Ooh.
And as you can see, a lot of the money is on Connor. He's the favorite going in at odds of 1.5. It'll be interesting to see. That's where most of the money's gone so far. In terms of the highest rated round of the tournament, again, most people are looking at that 1020 to 1040 range.
Yeah.
Would you? Is that consistent with what you would expect for this weekend?
What do you say? 1020 to 1040?
1020 to 1040, yeah.
No, I'm probably putting 1010 to 1020. Like, there are too many highly rated players. Avery, what's your rating at the moment? Are you above?
Remember.
You above 1,000?
Used to be.
Okay. Because I think there's too many like highly rated players that are going to bring it down. So like, unless you play stupid hot and way out the front, you're not going to creep into that like 1020 plus.
Okay.
I'd argue you're probably coming in between 1,000 and 1020 is probably going to be the hot round, but I don't think it'll break 1030.
Okay, well, if you think that,
if you agree with me, then feel free to join our Discord.
Otherwise, if you think that someone's got a 1050 in their bag, and bearing in mind that New Zealand's only seen 4 1050 rounds, I think.
Doesn't Levi have like 2 of them?
I don't know, but I think possibly. We've not seen too many. Some people think it's going to happen. Hopefully we see it this weekend. It'd be fantastic. Will a Kiwi win South Island Champs? Right. So this is pretty much even money. People have been kind of going, we don't really know on this. Who will finish highest? Basically, this is who's going to win the tournament, right? So you've got Levi Stout at odds of 2.6, Jackson Sullivan at 2.7, everyone else at longer odds. Jay Watkins at 6.1, Ryan Cambridge, and then Connor and Simon at 9s. A lot of the money is going towards Levi here. Who will finish highest amongst perhaps the next wave of players? Again, a lot of money is going on Joe Berry. I wouldn't be surprised if he can make an impact. He's been playing well of late. People are not so sure on the FPO field who's going to win here. It's deadlocked at the moment. And again, with the rest of the FPO field as well. People think that some people think at least that there's going to be an ace on day one. Brady, we've just been over the course. What do you think?
On day one?
Yeah.
Let's take it on hole 11. Someone's going to get the elevated basket on 11. 11 or 6.
Okay. All right. Well, that's we shall see what happens later on in the tournament. Now, if you want to follow it all, head over to the PDGA website for the
use the app. There's a PDGA Live app now that you can follow everything. It's great. You can have it right on your smartphone, right in your pocket. Trust me, it makes it super easy when I'm trying to check scores at the end, when I'm trying to chase people down.
Search the PDGA for a site for the Discmania Garden City Open. If you want to do it the long way, then there'll be a link that opens here saying see live scores. Click through that and it will show you all the live scores and you can check out all the cards as well. We're very much looking forward to this tournament tomorrow. There's some fantastic cards and some great entertainment coming up. Brady, any final thoughts before we go?
Yeah, I do have to do a big shout out. You guys can see on the wall behind us,
Absolutely.
you know, like to put my NZDG hat on, there's so much that has gone into this major and so much more that's going to go on over the weekend. We can't have done it without all of these guys. NZDSS, thank you for hosting us, you know, like everyone else at Christchurch Disc Golf Club and all of the sponsors of this event. Thank you so much. Avery already talked about how much growth has come in this sport in the last 6 years since he last came over. So that idea that it's already palpable now and the event hasn't even started.
Yeah.
So the idea of thank you to everyone that made a part of it, to all the competitors coming out this weekend, you know, like throw well and may the course be with you.
Indeed. That about wraps it up. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, drop a subscribe, a follow, a like, a comment. It really does help the channel out if you can do all those things. And we'll see you tomorrow night, because we've got shows Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week. As we go over the results of the day, we speak to some of the players who have shot well, and we also preview the next day's play. So we'll see you tomorrow wherever you're playing disc golf. Take it easy, play well, get some birdies, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Cheers.